The family reunion. I'm Gary Mitchell, just a regular guy, a father of 3. Life's been pretty steady. Work, kids, and trying to enjoy whatever moments we can together. Today was supposed to be one of those moments. A family reunion in the backyard, kids running around, burgers sizzling on the grill. My wife, Sarah, was laughing with my sister, while my brother-in-law tended to the fire pit. Everything felt normal, peaceful. Then I heard it, the scream. At first, it blended with the sounds of kids playing, but this one, it was different. Raw. Fear soaked every note. I turned, instinctively scanning the street just beyond our fence. It was chaos. A woman was running, stumbling, her arms flailing in panic. Behind her, something was chasing her. It wasn't a person. Its movements were jerky, unnatural. And the closer it got, the more I could see. Torn flesh, vacant eyes, blood-stained teeth. My heart sank into a pit in my stomach. "Sarah, get the kids inside," I shouted, my voice cracking with panic. I sprinted toward the fence, eyes darting to the street. The woman never had a chance. The thing, the zombie, tackled her to the ground like a predator pouncing on prey. I could hear the wet sound of tearing flesh, her screams turning into gurgling gasps. The sight was sickening. Her skin was pale, blood pouring from her neck where the thing had sunk its jagged teeth in. I backed away, bile rising in my throat. "Gary!" Sarah's voice snapped me out of it. My kids, Matt, Lily, and little Emma, stood huddled by the back door, their faces pale with fear. "Inside now!" I yelled. I ran to the grill and flipped it over, using it to block the gate to the yard. Picnic tables were heavy, but adrenaline helped. I pushed one against the fence, creating a makeshift barricade. My hands were shaking, but I couldn't let my family see my fear. Inside the house, I bolted the door and rushed to the windows. "Help me," I said to my brother-in-law, Ryan. He nodded, his face as white as a sheet, and together we started dragging furniture to block the entrances. My mind was racing. What the hell was happening out there? The TV was still on in the living room, broadcasting scenes of chaos. The same horrifying images flashed on every channel. People being attacked, cities in flames, and newscasters struggling to stay composed. It was everywhere. The outbreak wasn't isolated. "Gary, what are we going to do?" Sarah asked, her voice trembling as she held Emma close. I swallowed hard. "We're going to stay calm. First thing, we block every window, every door. We can't let them get in." Ryan was nailing wooden boards across the windows, his hands moving faster than I'd ever seen. I glanced over at him. "We need to think about food, water, how long we can hold out." But before I could finish the thought, Matt, the oldest, at 13, spoke up, his voice barely a whisper. "Dad, I saw one of them. It got Mrs. Johnson across the street." His face was pale, eyes wide. "It bit her. Then she changed." Hearing those words from my own son made the reality hit harder. I was terrified, but I couldn't show it. I had to keep it together for them. The night crept in, and the sounds outside grew worse. Groans, growls, the shuffle of feet. Every few minutes, the thud of something slamming against our barricade made us jump. We turned off the lights, hoping to avoid drawing attention. I held my breath every time I heard something pass by. Suddenly, there was a loud bang on the door, a voice. "Gary, open up! It's Derek!" My neighbor. I rushed to the door, peeking through the small side window. Derek was covered in blood, his eyes wild. I hesitated, my hand hovering over the lock. "Please, Gary, let me in!" His voice was desperate, but there was something off. His clothes were torn and there was blood dripping from his neck. Sarah's hand on my shoulder made me pause. "Gary, don't..." But Derek's pleas grew louder. "They're right behind me, please!" I cracked the door, just an inch, enough to see his face clearly. His skin was pale, eyes wide, but his pupils were dilated, unnaturally so. Then I noticed the bite. a deep, jagged wound on his arm, fresh blood oozing from it. My heart dropped. "I can't, Derek, I can't let you in," I whispered, my voice breaking. His expression shifted, from desperate to furious. "Let me in," he snarled, slamming his hands against the door. His voice grew guttural, monstrous, as his movements became erratic. I slammed the door shut just as he lunged, his face twisting into something barely human. "Is he?" Sarah's voice trembled behind me. "Yes," I said, voice barely audible. "He's turning." The barricades rattled, the pounding growing louder as more of them gathered outside. We could hear them, groaning, shuffling, their decayed bodies scraping against the house. Their eyes, dead, hungry, and filled with an unnatural rage, glared at us through the cracks in the windows. I looked at my family huddled together, fear in their eyes. I had to stay strong. We had to survive. Let me know in the comments below if you want to hear more from this story. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.